Hey guys, how's it going? CoreData here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're playing some more cards, and we're taking a look at one of the new cards to come out of Air Supremacy, and that is Flight to Oblivion. So this is the deck list, and I do apologize. The deck might look a little bit wacky. Some of the quantities in here are a bit weird, and the main reason for that is this deck was built on stream on the launch day of Air Supremacy, so it is a little bit out there. This was very much like a first draft of the deck list. And I will say that this is going to be a set of stream highlights similar to the Germany-Poland video. I do also want to apologize for the lack of an upload last week. I was quite under the weather and I was also very busy with work, so we just didn't have time to put anything together. But hopefully you guys don't mind too much, because we are coming back with a very, very fun deck list, at least this time round. So, like I said, we are built around Flight to Oblivion. This is one of the new cards from the brand new set. It is 3 credits to remove the top area from your deck, distribute damage randomly to enemies equal to its attack. So this basically is like a weird Shinano-esque effect. So to complement the Flight to Oblivion, we are running exactly 4 pieces that combo with it being the key 84 Frank. This is a 5-cost 3-op 7/5 fighter with Fury, and it cannot attack the enemy HQ. And we're also running, of course, the B-29 Super Fortress. This is just a 15-cost 4-op 9/9 Blitz Bomber with heavy armor. Costs 3 less if we control the front line. So, like I said, in order to make Flight to Oblivion work, you kind of have to have very specific aircraft in the deck, which means you can't really splash any of the early game aircraft from either nation, which means the deck is a little bit hamstringed just by this deck building restriction, considering a lot of the best, a lot of the good mid-range and tempo stuff that US and Japan have in the early game is air related. So what this means is we end up having to play this really weird early game just to survive, essentially, versus other decks. So we can't play like a traditional mid-range or tempo deck in order to get Flight to Oblivion to actually work, which is why the deck list looks as odd as it does. Like I said, we can't really run all that many aircraft, but we are making the best of it. We do get to play some of the returning cards in the rotation as well, such as Type 94 TK. This card is absolutely insane. This is fantastic against other aggro decks, and it is great into like control, because if you play these in numbers, you're just basically get 2 credits, destroy a thing. Yeah, Type 94 TK is just a very, very good unit. Like I said, the 0-op is very relevant on this as well, being a 1/1 tank is super nice. We're also playing the returning 5th Rangers. This actually ended up overperforming in a lot of the games that I played with it. Being a 4/4 for 4 and 0-op on turn 4 is pretty good, but if the game goes a little bit later, just this coming down as an 8/8 is very, very solid, especially in like a simplified game state versus aggro. If this gets into the front line as an 8/8, they just kind of can't remove it very easily. So yeah, 5th Rangers have been incredibly impressive, and towards the end of the stream, I was like pretty much positive I should be running more copies of 175th. This thing versus Germany is just really good, and there's quite a bit of Germany in the metagame right now. A lot of people trying out like the new Hainshell, they're trying out the Salamander, just playing slightly slower German decks. But 175th it just dodges all the good German removal. And it also stacks our Super Fortress and Franks just in case we happen to draw them for a Flight to Oblivion. So yeah, the deck list as a whole is just very strange. Like I said, we're kind of like a midway between like a tempo and mid-range deck. It's just odd. there's a few tech pieces in here that are interesting. For example, we are playing the American Guards. I played this in the Throp deck. I'm not going to go over exactly what it does. It just basically converts the top card of our deck into something in our hand. We're primarily using this to make a 3rd copy of Flight to Oblivion, or to give us an extra copy of US military research in the control matchups, because going for nukes versus control decks is generally how we're looking to close games, alongside Flight to Oblivion, just burning them for like 7 or 9. Aside from that, we are playing a handful of things that let us stack the top of our deck, such as Night Patrol and the aforementioned 175th. This means if we happen to have the Super Fortress in hand, we can put it on top of the deck and then flight to get rid of it and deal 9, removing what is usually a dead draw, while also burning our opponent or clearing an aggro board. And finally, the other like weird and niche tech choice in here is 3 copies of Ger. Ger is good because obviously it's very cheap suppression, being 0 cost to just suppress the thing. But on the other hand, it's also got extra flexibility in this deck because it just says suppress target unit, which means we can suppress our own units. And this is relevant with exactly Frank. So sometimes we are in a position where we have to play a Frank in order to like try and win a game. And if we duress a Frank, we can at least hit our opponent for 7. We lose the Fury, but that's fine because we are able to kill our opponent. Hitting for 7 with an aircraft from the support line is quite a lot. So yeah, an unanswered Frank, we can duress it and we can get in for 7, or we can just suppress our opponent's guards or whatever else. But yeah, that's the deck this week. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. Do I recommend playing Flight to Oblivion? God, no. I do think it's better than what I gave it credit for in the review video I did with Bear. The problem is, like I said, there is quite a big concession you have to make in deck building in order to make Flight like its best. Like the inability to play aircraft of any form that aren't exactly for Flight makes it very, very difficult to build a competent like mid-range or tempo strategy around it. And I don't think you want to play like Control with Flight because it's just inconsistent. I think Flight is a card that benefits from you already having the board presence to back it up. So yeah, I don't think Flight is worth it in this current metagame. I do think its potential to be a good card later on is actually real. I do think it might actually have legs in an expansion or two's time, if we do get slightly more tempo infantry or tanks in like Germany and Japan, or not Germany, in US and Japan. The problem is, like I said, right now, a lot of the best tempo early game, like mid-range tempo units in specifically US are like aircraft, so it's just not great. But yeah, like I said, that's the deck for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and onto some games. Yeah, I'm now a cat dad. It was it was non-negotiable on my partner's side. Do a little ramping. Could just play 5th Rangers as a 0-op 4/4 here. Just get into the front line, start threatening that way. Ooh, Flight to Oblivion is really, really good actually. It's a good non-negotiable. Sounds like a fair deal to me. Of course you'd say that. Yeah, it's something I could never have when I was back home because my my mom is deathly allergic. Missouri, okay. I can just for freedom here cycle a card. Push forward. I will just ramp. Do I ramp or do I just flight and deal like 7? I can set them to 9 or it sets them to 7. No, I'm just gonna do the thing. Because this just puts him in range of like things like Hellcat. Seahawk is fine because I just commit the reserves to kill it. Find another Rangers, we're going to commit the reserves, get in for damage. Go for a little bit of ramp. US Germany, okay, yeah. Oh, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I give Flight to Oblivion a little bit too much shit. Maybe it's actually okay. Up against Japan again. Likely going to be yet more aggro. So I think we pitched the Hellcat. We pitched Night Patrol. 175th is like fine. Costs a little bit of card advantage, but it's worth it for like the 6/6 in the front line if this is like Japan Soviet or Japan France. 94 is just really, really good. Ooh, we get to do it again. Unironically, this versus aggro might be not bad. We draw the Frank off the top. I mean, I could pin it. I don't think I care. They push. Okay, double Shibata. We have the Night Patrol. I can pin this. This forces the second Shibata forward. I take 2 if I do that, though. But they just get the free trade here anyway. If I don't pin. And if I pin, I'm not doing anything else in my turn. Aside from taking an extra 2, because I can play the Night Patrol, which isn't great. So I think I just play the 175th here. And I will put the Frank back on top. Because at least next turn, like, they go here. I bump here. Kyoto Regiment is fine. We top deck the Frank. The Kyoto's a bit of a pisser. I could just go for depth charges here, ramp, and but like I'm taking 4 if I do that. These Shibatas are so annoying. Sure, just go ahead. I'm just gonna pass. There's no point. Ah, yes. The third Shibata. That makes everything better. Second flight, though. I'm just gonna play the Frank here, because this gets punished by a rush if they have it, but I haven't seen ally yet, so I don't know. Okay, it's German ally. It's just classic Ger Aggro. Yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping for. A triple trade into the Frank. We find Juris. This gives me back my 6/6. I take 2 though. Take a trade. Double flight is actually so funny though, because I have a 33% chance of just dealing 9, like randomly split among everything. I'm guaranteed at least a minimum of 14 split across the board. I could also just start going up the research chain here. Try and get to either penicillin or nukes. Or I can just go Night Patrol, see if I find anything relevant, and then just flight to Oblivion. Nah, okay. Yeah, we just go research here then. At least I know I have a Rangers on top, which means if they push the front line, I do have a free trade. They go commit reserves. 77th, which gets farmed by the Rangers here. See, flight just isn't good enough into this board right now. They just have too much health. God. It's just so awkward floating so much mana every turn. 35T. Trade here, go flight. Go Night Patrol. Fine for freedom. For freedom, I think needs to go back. Or does it? I mean, I could just play the second flight, right? I can just play the second flight here. Because the other line was just playing 164th, taking a trade here. But then the For Freedom is just dead on top. Yeah, we ball. This does mean now we have a dead Super Fortress in the deck. Oh, 77th is a fantastic top deck here. Yeah, I'm gonna go, I think, research level 3 next turn, and then I'm gonna crack it for penicillin. Yeah. What was their hand to say they scooped? Ger Aggro 4 cards in hand and scoop. I don't know what they could have possibly had. Let's see. This is actually a pretty good hand. Even into like Ger Aggro, because turn 1 we played the Type 94, which threatens an X1 if they play it. Turn 2 War Machine, but we also get to operate the 94 because it's 0-op. And then turn 3 we have 4 credits, so we can play either the 175th or we can play Tag to put another flight on top. I think we keep this. I think this is fine. Because we also have the pin that we can weave in if we need. Yeah, so the Type 94 threatens us now. Let's find Juras. Juras is really, really good here. If this happens to be like Shuffle. Engage at range. So it could be Shuffle. Engage does synergize with Shuffle, so we could be looking at like Germany, France, but it could just be straight up like burn. What happened? I was just cooking dinner. We've won like 3 games with with Flight to Oblivion. A card which I called possibly the worst one of the set. So, oh, chat. If we go flight, 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 we win, right? There's nothing they can really do about it. It's because 3 flights is at minimum 21 damage. I have to play Tag on one of these though, so I can't play both. So the question is, do I just play 175th this turn and then next turn play Flight? So that, what, 4, next turn's 5. Play that turn 6. Can't quite do both on the following turn. Let's go for Freedom on top, push this forward. Because realistically, again, how is Ger Aggro meant to do with the 6-6? '77th. That is A-okay. I can for Freedom to stay alive. Find a War Machine. Take this trade. Go War Machine. Yeah, I think this is pretty much just, yeah, I was gonna say, it's just regular Ger Aggro with a burn package. Take Liberty. No! No, my flights to Oblivion! All my apes gone! Damn it. Oh, wait, we got one back. We got one back. We're fine. I will night patrol. We'll draw first, see what happens. We find a Frank. It's a Frank I can get rid of with the flight. God, we had them dead to rights with the triple flight, though. It's unfortunate. Yeah, we see development here. Imperial Strength. Tora Tora. Yeah, it's just Japan, Germany with burn. Find Super Fortress, which is unfortunate. This might just be 5th Rangers plus GRS. I could also just 5th Rangers and just sack my Hellcat here. Or I can just make 5th Rangers an 8-8, and then again, how are they going to deal with that? Make it an 8-5, or I can make it an 8-6 duress the duress to 58th, so it's a 1-2. Because I have commit the reserves to deal with anything from the support line, right? If they play like a Dragon Slayer or the Kyushu or whatever. Attaché. Tora Tora. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the opponent is just kind of dead here. God, we were so close to playing 3 copies of Flight there. That take liberty is so upsetting. Second attaché. Clear off the Hellcat so they don't die. Yeah, just from this situation, I don't think they can ever really recover. Not with a 5th Rangers in the front line. Yeah. Up against Soviets though. Okay. Soviets got some interesting stuff from the new set. I don't really know what to expect out of Soviets. I'm guessing control. Suppress is probably going to be much more relevant later on. Same with commit. I kind of want to find things to pressure early, because maybe I just get them with a flight to Oblivion. We do find flight here. We have night patrol as well if we happen to draw the Super Fortress. Hellcat's a fine top deck. Go War Machine. So next turn I play 175th, push it forward. Yeah, the lack of plays, like hard signals control here. Put the 4 freedom back on top. This gets hit by extended barrage. Mobile defense. Sure. They could still have barrage here. Cause they they hovered it like they had barrage. Let's see. This is potentially worth like flighting. Set them to 10. This now dodges barrage. Has to be barrage plus sickle. 4th guards. Zukov. But they are dead. Up against Germany. Fifth Rangers, Frank Duress. I'll keep 1 Rangers just because turn 4, 0 op 4/4 is like fine. That's not bad. A little bit of ramp. 175th is like fine on like turn 3 with the ramp here. Second copy of 5th Rangers. 5th Rangers has actually been really, really good. Blitz Doctrine. And it's fine. We find Type 94. I will just stack the Hellcat here. Push the 6-6 forward. This can't be routed, and they're miles off of 108. So this should be like, they should stick. Yeah. Ah, yes. Maybe I should be running more 175th. Let's see. Against Germany, I don't think I need any of this. Research is good. Research plus tag is very good, actually. This gives us the opportunity to just win through through nukes in the late game. A Rado. It's fine. Just gonna ramp here. If they get a free trade here on the 164th, that's fine. We got military research. We go for expanded. So it's Germany, US. Find Hellcat. I can just go for Hellcat here, actually. It gets punished by a handful of things, but I don't think I really care. I do want the chip damage on the HQ. Because my plan is to win in the late game with either flight or nukes. So I need to get them down to a point where I can just kind of burn them out. Not necessarily, like, I need damage, but not necessarily to the point where they feel like they need to heal with bEcPfGmPsytY. So I think we do just get in for 4 here. Because I know they need to stay above 12. To not lose to nukes. So next turn we're just going to play the American Guard, copy the research, put one on top. This will give us two bites at the apple. I'm just going to pass. I'm not going to play the Hellcat here. War Machine. Route on their own. Route their Arado? Why? I don't know. What was that? Oh, to make space. I see. I see. I see. Push the tag forward. We'll go for Hellcat. They could Leopold me. I'm expecting more likely capitulation here. Big Schutzen. The Stug. Plus the 4-4. I mean, I could just go for penicillin. I could just go for penicillin, and then this makes it very awkward because I can just duress this. Is it worth me going for penicillin here? I mean, they still double trade me. Is it worth taking the 6 damage here? Because I can just set up nukes. And their only out is bEcPfGmPsytY. I'm just gonna make him have it. It has to be exactly Alpenfishing this turn. Kriegsmarine hits Missouri. That's game over. I don't think they can't deal 7 to me. Okay, well we actually we actually got the lethal with flight that time. Up against Germany again. We keep War Machine. Again, American Guard is good if I have exactly flight or research. Yeah, I'm just going to pitch it. Well, there's flight. Turn 1 pass. And there's research. Okay, so we could have kept guards and we would have been like A-okay. But yeah, it's going to be basically a run back of last game, where we're essentially just playing for research plus flight to burn our opponent out. We're having pretty much the exact same exchange on the first couple of turns here. So they freely trade here, but I get to develop 175th this time, and put a Juras on top. Type 94. The Juras on top pushes forward. No real good way in Germany to deal with this, but it depends on what their ally is. Even if they're French ally, they're like 1 off clearing it with defend in depth. Ooh. Hello there. I can just Juras it. I can just Juras that. What's the worst that could happen? That they have exactly shifting attack. that's the worst that could happen. It has to be exactly shifting attack. But if they take the turn off to like pay 3 to take this trade, it means they're not really doing anything anyway, so I get to freely fly to Oblivion. Okay. Trade. Oh, we top deck the Super Fortress. Oh, that's that's terrible. Absolutely catastrophic. So I'm only dealing 7 this turn. So they go to what, 6? 6 puts them in range of a single nuke. But nukes aren't happening for a little while. It's still probably worth just firing it, right? Because it puts a lot of pressure, and it puts them in a position where they need exactly Alpenfechtung. I think it's worth it just to... I mean, it also threatens if I have a second flight on top. Yeah, it's... The threat was enough. They saw flight and thought, oh fuck, no. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, the deck is a lot of fun. Flight to Oblivion is just an incredibly silly card. I'm very excited to play around with this a little bit more and potentially refine this list a little bit more. I'm sure there's concessions I can probably make in deck building. I'm sure there's more units I could be running that I just didn't think to run. I definitely need to sort out the quantities in here. Like the 2 164s just looks very weird to me. So I'm probably gonna fix this deck up a little bit more as the expansion progresses. However, like I said, the deck is incredibly fun. Flight to Oblivion is just a very silly card. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend crafting it, at least not just yet. If it gets support down the line, or if they print some better early game units for like US and Japan, then maybe consider it, at least in terms of like mid-range or tempo. But as it stands, certainly not worth it right now. But yeah, anyway, I digress. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.